Stop being a negative person. If you're trying to force somebody to believe what you believe in, you're a negative person. If you vegan and judging other people for eating meat, you're a negative person. If you hating on anybody for any reason, you're a negative person. If you putting pressure on somebody about what they should do with their life, you're a negative person. Even if you feel like you got the best interest at heart. Because you think you telling them something that's right, don't mean it's not negative towards them. If you owe somebody something and don't follow through with it, you're a negative person. Whether it's money, a favor, whatever. If you promise you're gonna do something or anything you know you should be doing and you don't give it to that person, then you're a negative person. If you doing something with your life that you know gonna fit those around you, you're a negative person. If you taking advantage of somebody and they not getting nothing in return, you're a negative person. If you letting somebody take advantage of you repeatedly, you're a negative person towards yourself. Stop letting people use you and dispose of you when they feel like it. Stop letting people give you empty promises and never commit to anything they say. Stop letting people control how your day goes. Stop talking negative about yourself. Think before you speak and watch what you say, because energy is energy in what you say, and it can roam through the universe and become true. That's why a lot of y'all go through life problems and keep going through it over and over again, because once you get in a bad situation, you keep talking yourself into another one. You gotta dig yourself now you digging yourself into a deeper hole every single time, and you gotta dig yourself out of it. Stop knowing when you wrong, then play victim and use your trauma as an excuse to do people dirty. Stop wasting your life doing things that don't benefit you, that's negative towards your growth. Another way, if you complain without trying to come up with a solution, you negative. A lot of people that love to complain about this and about that, seeking advice but never taking the advice, they just never try to fix the situation, but they just love the attention they getting from complaining about the situation. Another one is, if you feeling entitled, if you feel like people owe you stuff, if you feel like somebody owe you something for whatever reason, even if somebody looked out for you before, so you feel like they owe you to look out again, or just because somebody, your sibling or your friend or cousin, they owe you something. Don't nobody owe you nothing. If you feel entitled, if you got a sense of entitlement, you're a negative person. Don't nobody owe you nothing in this world. Unless they literally owe you something that you did, that you gave them, and they owe you it back. If somebody owe you some money or something, that's different. But if you ain't did nothing for nobody and you just feel like they owe you something, then nah. If you touching other people's belongings without their permission, or do you feel like they're not gonna care, or you doing it just because you don't care, you just touching other people's stuff, or you borrowing it without asking, then you a negative person. If you talking about somebody or somebody's situation without no listening being the side of the conversation, if you're not talking about it to feel a listening side of it and put some wisdom and knowledge into the situation. If you closed-minded, because when you closed-minded, you're not open to hearing the truth. You just think whatever that's in your head is the only outcome. You're not accepting other possibilities. And I ain't gonna lie, majority all the time, closed-minded people just always wrong. And they never see the error in their ways, so they never grow. Another one is, if you always assuming the worst, then you're a negative person. If you know you need to change your lifestyle, but you're not taking the steps to change it. Rather, you need to lose weight, but you still eating the same foods that made you gain that weight. You're not changing the way you eat, you're not changing your diet, you're not trying to work out, or none of that. And when you do it, you're not consistent. You only do it for the heat of the moment. You do it for 1-2 2 days, a few days, and then you lost your motivation and dedication. Now you back doing the same thing. If you have an addiction, whether it's drugs, sex, being lazy, an addiction to food, an addiction to working, like you just overworking, you a workaholic. If you an alcoholic, if you a weedaholic, if you addicted to any kind of drug, if you addicted to anything, if you attached to anything, you're negative towards your growth. And you're gonna be that's a negative life, a miserable life to live. If you don't want to be bothered by people, but then expect them to accept you bothering them when you feel like talking to them, when you feel like it. You feel like talking to people when you feel like it. But when somebody trying to talk to you, you annoyed and got an attitude, and you don't want to be bothered by nobody.